Hello everyone, myself Uday Datrak. I am planning to teach 100 plus unique web application security issues in 20 hours. You don't need to have any basic skills, guys. If you watch from lesson 0, you can understand all the lessons. Search in YouTube for Uday Datrak. I have already uploaded 50 plus lessons. Subscribe, guys. I will daily upload 1 or 2 videos so that you will be getting alerts. We spoke around 1.5 hours on now cross-site scripting, guys. We'll spend like 30 more minutes to understand in depth about it. For that I made some Excel sheet for you guys to understand. Now let's say what there is a website, what all the possible pages can be in a web application, like registration page, login page, file upload page, file download, search page. So these all are the pages and these are the possible input fields. Now let's talk about the cross-site scripting, guys. So before going further, let me show you a live example on stored cross-site scripting, like localhost / Datrak. You have been seeing this application from long before, guys. Now in the sign up page, whatever we enter, right, username, passwords, they will be stored in the database, and next time whenever you log in, they can be compared to see whether your username password is correct or not. So now that means this will be there always in the database, username and password. Now in the and so that means, let's see, first we'll try to register with some Uday Datrak one. I'm giving the same password. You can give any password, guys. I'll click on submit now. I registered. Ignore this error, guys. This is the small one which I'm forgetting all the time. Now I'll try to log in into an application with a username and password. Once I log in into the application, what you have seen, guys, your username is reflecting here. That means there are chances of cross-site scripting for username, but your password is not reflecting here. So whatever the reflection points are there, first you have to register as a normal user and see what all the reflection points, and then you have to. So now as I have seen the reflection point, now what I will do is, in the place of username I'll give as Uday script alert 123 script, and I'll copy this. In the place of password I'll give as QWRTY. I registered now. As I said, ignore that error. Now I'll try to log in with that username and password. Now the script is executed, guys. That means the application is vulnerable to stored cross-site scripting because this username will be stored in the database. How you can check it by yourself for your own application, guys? Like, let's say if you want to know that if someone is doing the stored cross-site scripting attack on your web application, so how you gonna check? PHP myadmin. You know your database username and password for your application, then you will go to a database where you can see that someone entered the script tags, right? So yeah, now you understood the stored cross-site scripting. Let's say now on the reflection point you should not enter these one script tag, guys. So the shortcut what I have told you, take this complete list, send it to the burpsuit intruder, and try to save the output in a HTML file. As I told in a previous file, try to open it with a Mozilla Firefox. If you come across any pop-up or anything like that, that means that page is vulnerable to like stored cross-site scripting, so that you guys know it. Now let's talk something which we haven't discussed. Let's say a registration page is there which is asking for 5 input fields, like which I talk here, like username, email address, first name, last name, very important, guys, this one, and password. Let's say it is the registration page is asking 5 input fields. Now how do you check for cross-site scripting? You should not enter the script tags in all the input fields at once, guys. So what I mean to say that, let's say you are trying to create something like this, hello at gmail.com, not hello, instead of like thou they that something. Okay, now first last name Uday something that, let's say you are sending these things as in the request. These are the parameter names and these are the parameter values. This is the first request, guys. Now you registered. Now from next time, how you gonna check it? Like, let's say first what you have to do in the first request, you have to put a script tag like this, script alert. It's not necessary for this particular script, so any tag is fine. You should not remember, the thing is that the third step, send one payload per request. In a request, if you are sending 5 parameters, you should not send the script tags to all the parameters, guys. So for the first time you have to send the script tags to these fields, and the next time to check for another time you have to enter in the last name. Sometimes what happens, when you enter the script tags in all the input fields, the server will block the request. So it's not like blocking the request. If there is any exception on the server side or any error, the script cannot be executed. So if there are 100 parameters, you have to send 100 parameters, like you have to send 100 requests. Each parameter, every time you should give payload to each different parameter, like. So that's how the first important thing. And the second, like, first you understood, like, identify the correct reflection points for correct input fields. Remember, guys, when I say correct input fields, like, if you could see here, you know that you try to log in with the correct username and password, right? That is for cross-site scripting. Now when you try to log in with correct username and password, before we put the script tags in the place of username. Now I'll try to put some random text and search for it. Since it's a wrong input, like, let's say I search for something, right? Now is this value is reflected on the page or not? Since I written here itself, you might be thinking that this is not reflected, but if you see, right click and view source, I'll search for that. Can you see, guys? That is reflected here. That means on the login page with the wrong input also, you should be not just on the login page, on every page with some junk data you should enter, and you should see, like, you can also see within the burp suite, like you entered some junk data and you got a response, right? You have to copy this, right click, copy, see it in the response, it is reflecting. So how can you execute the script tags? Now right click, send to intruder, guys. It's a homework for you guys. You send to intruder and click clear, as I told you. Select this particular field parameter, click on add, select the payload list, load the files as I told you before. And you need to uncheck this and go to some, what I told you, project options, miscellaneous, select intruder response, select output file, like save it in hello.html and fire the thing, guys. Like, come to intruder, fire, I mean to say, like, go to start the attack. Now it will try to check for one by one on this particular input field. So now you understood, right? You have to check the reflection points for the correct input field values. You have to check the reflection points for the wrong input field values also. But however, the Zap proxy will do the both the things, guys. So, and now you also understood one page per request. Very important thing is that when sometimes you give the script alert 123 script in the place of email address, the web server will not accept the request, because it always knows that email address should be something at something.com. It will check for @ symbol something and also dot. So in the Google you have to search for such input fields like Chrome. This is the important point, because most of the people cannot report the cross-site scripting for email address field. I have seen lots of people who worked under me, they did not report the cross-site scripting for email address field because they simply enter script alert 123 in the place of email address, guys. That's wrong. So search for email address XXS payload. Oh, it's someone, okay, it's already searched. It's a good XSS at XSS support by friendly. Someone is written. So let me open 2-3. Okay, first one. XSS email payload something. I am searching for after a long time, guys, so bear with me. I have collected all the things before. Okay, yeah, here it's correct itself. I did not see properly. Let me search for @ symbol here. So he is using this particular format like @.com and is passing the scriptlet tags. If this is also not allowed, search in Google, guys. You will easily find out, like, the payloads. Like sometimes images can also show it, Okay, how to search now. Like, just search for the XSS email payloads. You will be able to figure it out. I don't want to waste your time. So that's the important point to remember. Now just try to check for using Zap proxy. Now if you are a normal user, if you want to use, like, now you understood the manual concept. Let's say you wanted to do an automated approach. You don't want to remember manual thing and everything. So how do you check for automated approach, guys? Set the burp proxy. First go to sign up page, register it, and then log into sign in page. Now go to Zap proxy, because it has now intercepted the sign up page request, login page request, and if it has some any internal pages, like this particular application doesn't have much internal pages. If you can see, there is one more page called reset password page. Try to enter some data here also, guys. And now we know that this particular application has how many input fields, guys? If you could see, sign up page has 1, 2, 3 input fields, login page has 2 input fields, change password page has 2 input fields. So overall 9 input fields. So check for cross-site scripting using Zap proxy all at once. Simply sign up, login, change password. Now these 3 things are intercepted in the Zap proxy. Simply do the active scan there. Now can we check for reflected cross-site scripting on the sign up page, guys? Yes. How we can check it? If you give the correct password and correct confirm password, the website will say as user is registered. But I'll try to give both the passwords as wrong. Confirm password and this password is wrong. And to see whether my input is reflected back in the source, how we can see? Right click page source, Control F, Uday Datrak. It is reflecting back the input field, guys, here. Oh my god, if you could see, some value is reflecting back in the place of password, ASSA. That means that is the password I think I entered, guys. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. This is the very important thing, guys. This particular application is vulnerable to password field is also vulnerable to cross-site scripting, guys. Even though if it is masked, it can be the script, the what do you say, this particular field is vulnerable to, the script can be executed here. So let me show you a simple. You cannot simply put the script tags here, guys, because that's the reason why I told you like to make a list and use the burp intruder feature itself, because whenever the field, your data is reflected back in these particular tags, right? Like these are the input tags, whatever the tag it will be, like HTML tags within the double quotes, we call it as at cross-site scripting attribute injection kind of thing. So in such situation you have to follow these kind of syntax, like on mouse over equal to double quotes alert 1 closing. That means now if you could see, I'll put something for you to understand. Yeah, now if I take the mouse on the top of username, on mouse over means whenever we put the mouse on at that particular place, script will be executed. That means where I put the on mouse over in the place of username, when I put the mouse on that, the script will be executed. Now what is happening here is, if I put here, this particular thing is that is ending here, the value, and then this becomes the function on more over equal to alert 1, then the script will be executed. So you don't have to remember this. If it is hard, the Zap proxy can take care of that. Or else if you think Zap proxy is sending less number of payloads, I will say that load the 1000 payloads in this, use the burp intruder feature, you will be success, you guys. So let's try an experiment, guys. I'm fetching a lot. Let's assume if you understood, you can stop watching, guys. This is for the beginners. I'm just making sure that everything will be, let's say this this particular input field on the, for the first time you are trying to check for excesses, guys. So what I told you, you have to send payload separately for username for one request, then payload for password field in one request, then payload in this field. So total 3 requests, right? Now I'll enter some junk data here. Okay, now click on submit. I'll see whether the data is reflecting or not. If it is not reflecting, then it's no point of checking excesses, right? Control F. What is the input we entered in the place of username, guys? HS. Okay, so here my input field is reflecting here, and the password, in the place of password I'll enter something like password. Click submit. Now view source, I'll search, oh sorry, in the place of password I enter something as secret. Okay, now I'll search whether the secret is reflecting back. Right click, view source, control F, secret. Yes, secret is reflecting. Now if I want to check whether this particular field is vulnerable to cross-site scripting or not, how I can do that? Now I want to check for only this particular field in this page. Now come down, take the request to the intruder, guys, as it is. Let me do it for you now. Positions, clear all. Since I have 3 input fields with parameters, but I want to make sure that this application parameter is variable, so this parameter value, so I am checking this particular parameter value itself. Click add. Yes, go to payloads. I'll quickly do it. Uncheck this. Now go to project options, miscellaneous, save the response, intruder responses to XSS check.html. Okay, now go to intruder options, and it will keep checking. As you can see, payload 1, this where it is sending to that particular parameter only. See, in the place of password. Can you see the next one? It is not sending for other parameter values. So I want to target only this particular parameter value. So if I report, like, first I will check for this. If it is vulnerable, then that's good. If it is not vulnerable, that's fine. Then I'll come to this, and then I'll come to this particular point. Now let's assume this 32 scripts are loaded. Now what I'll try to do is this particular page I'll try to open in Chrome. See, wow, I got a pop-up, guys. That means that particular field is vulnerable to cross-site scripting. Okay, I forgot to tell you one thing. As I said before, you have to see the content type, right? As I said, for this particular request, if the response content type is HTML, then fine. If it is JSON, then the script tags comes as it is, the script will not be executed. So remember, guys, this for only very few applications it contains as JSON tags. So yeah, now you know that how to check cross-site scripting at any page, and also for particular parameter in a field tag. If there are 100 parameters, so you need to fire the intruder 100 times, guys. Each parameter 1000 kind of thing. So without remembering anything, you can be a rock star. Now we completed stored cross-site scripting, reflected cross-site scripting, and some people call it as a referrer cross-site scripting, guys. It is nothing, guys. If you can see referrer here, in the place of referrer fields, what happens, some applications take this and prints on the page. So here also sometimes people will enter the script tags. Try to enter the script tags here also, guys. It is also important to see. Sometimes what happens, some applications may print the session ID on the page. I have never seen anything such, just telling you. So there can be chances. Why? We can easily check. Like, so how do you modify the session parameter, guys? In the browser you cannot do it, right? So you need to right click the request, send to repeater, and just try to play the request. See whether this parameter value is reflecting on the page or not. No, now it's not reflecting. So I will try to put some junk data and see whether it's reflecting or not, because we have to check for incorrect variables also, right? No, this one. So this is safe, guys. Now you have to check for correct parameter values, and you have to also check for incorrect parameter values to see whether it's properly reflecting or not. So simply, even for referrer kind of thing. So I'll put some these things. HTSWW. No, it's not reflecting. So the application is not vulnerable to cross-referrer scripting. So this one we have completed cross-site scripting. Now you got much. I don't think I told you too much, guys, but this is how experts checks use for cross-site scripting. They don't compromise, because it is a very common issue which can be seen in most of the web application. You need to take time, and slowly you should be finding it. Initially it might look complex process, but once if you start using this approach, you can easily check it. Yeah, we have covered. Now let's see logs. I deleted the logs, guys, before, because it was a big file and I don't want to waste time. Okay, nice. Now before running any automation tool, you should make sure that how it is working. That means, as I told you, Zap, right? Now let me run the Zap tool. I will not, this time I will not browse all the pages, guys. I have to set the port number and all, you know it. So Zap also has the feature to just give the website name so that it can check for issues directly by itself. So I will give as Datrak here, this particular copy application. Okay, automated scan. You need to enter the protocol also, guys. If it is HTTPS, enter HTTPS. If it is HTTP, then HTTP. URL to attack, select. Okay, that is the one, we selected it. Click attack, guys. So now what happened? Okay, yes, good. Now if you could see, oh my god, how speed it is, like 400 requests, 490 requests has been sent. It is sending the post request to so many things. Now let's see what all the issues this will report. Earlier when we opened the log file, how many we have seen requests? Only few. Now this is sending too many requests, like 1800 requests, because the web application is in my machine only, guys. Wow, it has found 5 cross-site scripting issues without browsing. The first, we'll see one by one, guys. The password field is vulnerable to cross-site scripting, that we know it. Sorry, username field here. Username field is vulnerable, but password field also is vulnerable to cross-site scripting. It did not report for this. We'll check that. Next page, in the registration page, which page was vulnerable? Parameter confirm password. Okay, very nice. For a registration page, this field is vulnerable. And for login page, the top is login page right here. Which parameter? Username field. Okay, registration page confirm password field, and another registration page is password field. Nice. The registration page username field. Very nice, guys. So it has report, the registration page has 3 input fields. We were able to find cross-site scripting issue in 3 input fields just by clicking on the, without browsing the application. So but what I said, it did, this application, if you could see, it was successfully checked for all the parameters on the registration page, guys. So we are very good with that registration page. But on the login page, it was reported only for the username field, but not for the password field. Now quickly let's go to the login page and see whether the login page values are reflecting or not. I'll give some non-username. Password field I'll enter as hello. Okay. Now view source, if it shows hello, then okay, the hello world is not reflecting on the login page. That means on the login page, the password parameter value is not reflecting. So you remember, guys, I'm telling once again and again, correct for every page and for every input field in a page, you have to give the correct input field values and the wrong input field values to check for cross-site scripting. Yeah. So now interesting thing is, this application has the change password page also, but Zap did not check for internal pages because it doesn't know the session ID of that application, right? That's the reason it is very important to load, set the proxy option in the Firefox and manually browse. Once you see that request internal page here, like change password request, select that, right click attack. Okay, I am repeating twice, that's fine. Now we'll analyze the log files to see. Now our job is to see how many payloads this one is sending. Like let's say if we have around 1000 payloads here, like here we have 100 payloads. Now let's see how effective Zap is by looking at the log files, how many number of payloads it is sending, cross-site scripting payloads. For example, from where our application starts.